Carpooling, that's moo as in car, pooling. It's probably not something many of you have heard of, but it's the new frugal way to live, apparently. Last night's TVNZ's Sunday programme uncovered the practice which sees people buying shares in a cow, having it home killed, then supplying meat directly to the consumers. Here's a recap of their story.
There is a quiet consumer revolution taking place. Frugal Kiwis with a taste for cheap meat are banding together and embracing a new movement, a new phenomenon, a new buzzword called cowpooling. Is there really such a thing?
Cowpooling, yes. Yes, going thirds in a cow. Everybody's looking for that bargain, and this is the bargain.
I must say it's quite disconcerting to actually look into the eyes of a steak.
I can understand that consumers want to play a greater part in knowing where their food comes from, but it sounds a bit like a fad.
A word of warning. Before you can legally kill your beast and avoid a $20,000 fine, you must own it for 28 days and be involved in its day-to-day care. So how much bang do you get for your bucks? Our investment of $1,315.18 returned us just under 172 kilos of prime beef, which works out at just under $7.65 a kilo. It is a seemingly far cheaper alternative to the supermarket.
No. Bloody hell. That's what it would have cost us if we bought all the meat here.
Well, Sunday reporter Pete Cronshaw is with us now. So just recap on the cost here. So we're talking a third of the price.
Oh, probably a little bit more than a third. We worked out, I think for our cow, we ended up paying $7.65 a kilo. For our meat. Now that's for all your meat, all your cuts. At the supermarket, we went to both supermarkets and we did costings, and it worked out at $17.70 a kilo. So we made a pretty big saving.
But the thing is, people have got to put the money up front and invest a bit of time and effort, don't they?
Yep, you've got to invest the time, you've got to invest the effort, you've got a freezer, you've got to pay for the power. But in saying that, you buy half a cow, you've paid for your freezer, you've paid for your power, and you're set up from that point on. So there's savings to be made from that point on. It will keep rolling on.
We heard Catherine Richards say it's a fad. Is it a fad, or is it something more than that, in your view, after doing the story?
Look, I'm not sure if it's a fad. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I think part of it is back to the future. I mean, we've gone from those... We've seen people sort of planting their gardens, planting their veggies, harvesting their veggies. It's a follow-on from that. It's the hedonistic days of the 90s, you know, when everyone was drinking champagne and people used to brag about having shares in a racehorse. They don't do that now. They've got shares in a cow, which they're going to kill and throw on the barbie. That's the way we're going.
Yeah, no, but tell us about the... because you talked quite a bit in the story last night about the rules. So 28 days you've got to own this cow.
Own it for 28 days.
And you've got to be engaged with its life a little bit.
The day-to-day maintenance. Now, exactly what is the day-to-day maintenance? Because my brother's a farmer down south, my brother-in-law, and he's got a huge spread, about 5,000 acres. He would be lucky to see his cattle in 28 days. In fact, I doubt he would. But... So exactly how much involvement you have to have, I mean, they've got food, they've got water, you've checked them, they've TB, you know, it's all good, then you've done your bit.
So, but how does that work? So someone living in the cities, do they have to then, you know, drive out to the country to see their cow maybe once or twice to comply with that part of the law, do their bit? Well,
that's what we did. I don't know what the cow poolers are doing.
Because you owned one.
We bought one, we checked on it, we followed it, we put it through the whole process. In fact, in doing that, the home kill guys were very nervous, eh? They were very nervous. And they, for quite a while, weren't going to kill it for us because they were fearful of what MAF would do, what would happen, the follow-up, and that sort of thing. In getting them to actually kill the animal, we had to go to MAF compliance and say, this is what we've done. We bought the cow, we've leased the paddock, I've been there, I've checked it, it's all good. And they said, you're good, away you go, son.
So that was good. All right, Pete Cronshaw, thank you very much. Fantastic story. We're going to do more on the story we started before the break about cowpooling. I'm joined by CEO of New Zealand Beef and Lamb, Rod Slater, and Federated Farmers Rural Butchers Chair, Mike HANSON. Good morning to you both. If I could start with you first, Rod. You have some concerns about this practice and its growth?
Well, we certainly don't have any concerns about the growth, I don't think. I think it is in a very limited
so it's not
quantity.
like big scale in your
I don't
view.
believe it is. But I think there's a few things that we need to point out. First issue was made about quality. And there was absolutely no question that the quality that's processed through a normal channel of processing plant is superior to what we term home kill. The other thing that we should point out is that there are some very high standards, world-class standards in this country for the processing standards and retail standards, and they're there for a very good reason, to produce food that is safe as possible. And with home kill, you are running a risk that those inspections that must take place at licensed premises are not happening.
What we heard from some of the people interviewed last night, though, was that they felt the quality was better, the meat tasted better. Someone likened it to espresso as opposed to instant coffee. They thought it was great.
Yes, I did, and that's a perception. It's absolutely a perception. We produce in this country through our proper channels very high quality product, and literally it is better than that produced in the home kill situation, and safer.
Do you have concerns around the law? I mean, in people's complying with this 28 days and the day-to-day compliance, issues?
Not so much concerned. There's a very grey area of the law. There's absolutely no question about that. But we certainly would question how a person in the city can be a bona fide farmer, farming an animal for 28 days, looking after its welfare, and then sending it off to a kill so they can share in the spoils, so to speak.
Should this practice be stopped?
On a personal basis, I think it would be stopped. We certainly don't believe that farmers should lose the right to process their own product. That's perfectly fair, and that's been in existence for many years.
But for consumers in the cities,
I think for consumers in the city, it is risky, and really it is making an ass of the law.
All right, let's go to Mike HANSON now. So, farmers, what do you think? Okay for farmers, but not for anyone else?
Yes, I think it's okay for the farmers and for the local town people if they put their hand in and try to get organised for the 28 days that they have to look after the beast for. I can't see why there's a problem. And just coming back with Rod there, and he was saying about the meat's not as good as export quality. It's exactly the same beast. They're standing right beside each other at the farm. One here, one goes on the truck, one stands in the paddock and just waits till the man comes along to home kill him. He's had no stress or anything on the truck. It must be better.
How do farmers feel? I mean, because people complain about the price of meat. So is this a way of cutting out a lot of the middle costs? So for farmers, do they see some merit in that?
Yes, I suppose the farmers could get more money for the beast on the farm straight away, and then there'd be no extra costs of sending it to the truck, to the abattoirs, and then to the butcher to get processed. You'd still have to get it processed, of course, but you'd cut out 3 or 4 people if you could just do it straight on the farm.
Rod was raising some concerns, though, about safety, compliance, those sorts of issues. Surely they would apply to farmers who are doing their own home kills?
Yes, all the farmers, like you say, they know the rules and regulations, and if we've got mobile guys out on the farm killing the beast, you're always checking to make sure there's no problem with it. If you know it's got arthritis or it's got something, you let the farmer know, and if it's not right, you just don't eat it.
Rod, if I could come back to you, is there a danger, or do you have any concerns that there are people who are doing home kills who shouldn't be doing home kills, or that there was a black market with, rustlers and that sort of stuff?
Well, there's no question there is a black market, and certainly the licensed home kill operators are exactly that. They've complied with standards, and they're perfectly right. They have a perfect right to exist and operate. But underneath all of that, there's this black market of unlicensed home kill operators who really are making an ass of the law, and they're being allowed to get away with it.
Just finally, is price a factor here? I mean, if the price of beef was cheaper, would people be going to these lengths? I
don't believe so. This practice, in some form or another, has been going on ever since I entered the meat industry in 1960, so it's not really new. The term cow pooling is new, but this practice has been going on and off for many, many years.
Rod Slater, thank you very much from New Zealand Beef and Lamb, and Mike HANSON from Federated Farmers. We appreciate your time.